What is going on, fellow web developers? My name is Tyler Potts, and in today's video we're going to be building a Hiragana quiz. Now, Hiragana is the main writing system in Japan. You can also do katakana and kanji, two other writing systems within Japan. But we're going to focus on just the basics of Hiragana for this tutorial. We're going to be building this inside of React.js, and we're going to style it with a little bit of Tailwind just so we don't have to write a bunch of CSS. But you don't have to worry. If you don't want to use Tailwind, you can use whatever you want and style this out. For the main focus is on the React.js for this video. And let's say we want to start this. So let's say this first one, it's me, and you can see our streak goes up, and so does our maximum streak. So next one is ha, and then we have ho. And these are all randomized, so there's no order to this. It'll be random for you. And you can see here we have this. Now this is actually ku, but I'm going to put ka just so we get an error. And it's like, oh, wrong. The correct answer for ku is ku. And there you go. It's reset our streak, but our maximum streak has stayed. Now if we get back up to our streak, so yo, ka, no, and now we go over this with may, you can see our maximum streak rises, and so does our streak. And here this is moo, but let's just refresh here, and you can see our score, our Hiragana quiz actually stays because we're using local storage to actually maintain the data here. So your streak and your maximum streak will be maintained. Now let's carry on. Let's say ru, but then let's get an error. Let's say this is rat, although it's chi. And there you go. You can see it says chi there. And now we've been set back to 0. So if we refresh our page, you can see we're back at 0. So that's what we're going to be building in this tutorial, guys. I hope you're excited. If you are, obviously don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay guys, so I have just whipped up a new folder inside Official Studio Code here, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up the terminal by pressing Control and comma, or it's Control Options T on the Mac. And here what I'm just going to say is we're going to say npm create feat at latest, and I'm going to do dot to say create this in this directory. If you don't know what feat is, it's basically how I'm going to create all my projects. You can create Vue, React, and a bunch of other ones. Don't worry, just follow along, and as long as you've got Node and npm installed, this will work. It may ask you, do you want to install create feat? Down here, just hit Y and hit enter, and now actually install what you need to continue on with this video. So here we're at package, so I'm just going to call this the Hiragana quiz. So we'll say Hiragana quiz, hit enter, select the framework. We'll be building this in React today, so I'm going to hit React. Variant, we're not going to do TypeScript, we're just going to do vanilla JavaScript, so I'm going to hit React again, and there we go. On the left, you can see our files are all set. We have our feat config, we have our package.json, index.html, where you can add all your metadata and stuff in there, and finally we also have our source folder here with all the things we need. Now I'm going to remove the logo for stars. I'm also going to remove app.css, and we can keep favicon in there. If we go into main.jsx here, app.jsx here, we can actually remove this const for now. We're going to remove the app.css and logo, but we're going to keep use stakes. We're going to need that later. And we're going to remove everything within here. Let's just delete this and bring this back out. I actually want to tab this properly. And there you go. So up here, I'm just going to say h1 hello world. As usual, we start off with a hello world app, and that should be ready to go. So let's just say npm run def quickly just to make sure this is working. And we have an error. What is it? Cannot find module feat. That's because when you first create a feat project, you need to actually do npm install to actually install the node modules. So if you don't see node modules in here, then you probably need to run npm install. And there you go. That's now done. Let's clear this, and we can now should be able to do npm run def without any more issues. None. Yes, there you go. Now we can actually click this link, and it will open up our new app here. And there you go. We've got hello world. So we're going to be styling this app using Tailwind CSS. Now, this is the guide I'm using. However, we're actually using feat. So however you create this, that's up to you. You can actually type in feat here, and it'll give you a similar set, but this is actually for Vue. So we just want to go back, and we're going to start from step 2, install Tailwind CSS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy both these commands, go back into my terminal, stop the server because we don't need it right now, and install both of these. So hit enter, and that will create, would I install Tailwind, post this as an auto prefixer. It will then create us a Tailwind config file on the left here, and also a post CSS config file. Perfect. Clear that, go back here, and you can see we need to actually set up some content so it actually knows what to look for, where to look for the classes. So we're going to go back here, Tailwind, and I'm just going to paste in this one here. All it does is say, look in the source folder for any folder inside there which has files with .js, JSX, TS, or TSX extensions. So in here you can see we have JSX files. It's going to look directly in those for these classes. Perfect. So let's just close this. And now this should be working. So we should be able to write whatever we wanted in here. Oh, saying that, it won't be working. Oh, it will be working because import is actually already in here. If this import wasn't in here, then you would need to do something else. We actually need to also copy in step 4, we need to copy in the Tailwind pieces. So go into your index and just paste those in. There you go. Now, if we run npm run def, this should work. Go back here, and this should now be, you should see a small little hello world instead of the large one, and there you go. Just so you know, I'm at 150%, just so you can see this a bit better. There you go. So let's also zoom in here, just to make this all easier to read. Now we're going to close this, and we're going to go into our app.js and close our main.js. I'm probably going to zoom in one more time to make it just a bit easier to read. Now, what we want to do is we want to import useState. We're also going to need useEffect because we want to have a, once this loads, we want to do something. Now, inside of our const app, we're going to say const Hiragana, and this is going to be our array of the different hiragana we want to use. So this is going to be an object, and I'm just going to do this. We're going to say Ramanji, and this will be and then we're going to say hiragana. And this will be the symbol for hiragana. So now I'm going to quickly paste all of these in and we'll be done. Hey guys, actually this is the finished project here. I'm just going to copy these, close this again, and then paste these all in here. Oh, not in there, but the whole thing here. Now you can actually get this whole repository, so if you need to get these without having to write them out manually like I have, what you want to do is head over to the repository, links in the description, and actually copy these out and paste them here, and then you can continue on with this tutorial. So yeah, I've just copied all those. I'm just going to minimize them because there's so many there, and what we're going to do now is we're going to get our first thing, which is going to be our input. So we're going to say const input, which is going to be what we type, and then we're going to have set input here as well. We're going to set that to useState of just an empty string. We're then going to get our current and our set current. Now this is going to be our current hiragana, so we're going to obviously be using this array here, and we're going to set our default one to be 0 by default, so it always start but obviously we're going to use useEffect to randomize that later on. We then want to get our streaks stuff. So we want to say streak and set streak. Now we're going to set this again to useState, which is just going to be our, useState is our state management here we're going to be using for this. You could also use something such as Redux or whatever you want, even context. But for now, I'm just going to use it in the one file because this is quite straightforward and a simple application. We're then going to get an error as well. So we're going to say error and set error. It's equal to useState, and this will be equal to false to start with. Okay, so that's all the states we need set. We have input to take our typing, current to actually get the current hiragana we're on, streak, max streak to handle our streaks, and errors just to obviously, if we do something wrong, we type in the wrong characters, it will say, hey, you did that wrong, here's the correct answer. So the first thing we want to do is we want to be able to get a random hiragana every single time. So we're going to say set random hiragana, not hiragana. And we can set that to an arrow function. And in here, we're just going to say const random index is equal to math.floor, math.random times hiragana.length. So all of our array. And then we're just going to say set the current one to the random one in that, which is perfect. We then want to handle change. Now this is going to be what we don't need those. We could just do this. There we go. Personally, I like to write event because obviously E could be for error or for event. So it's best thing. And all we do is set input event.target.value. So this is what, when we actually put our HTML in here, we're going to have a, we're basically going to have a input field which we're going to use. So we need to handle the change to actually bind the, we're going to be binding the input field with our input state. So we're now going to say handle submit, which is also going to be equal to event, and we're going to say event.prevent default. Set that to this, And then under here, we're going to say if input.to lowercase, because, you know, we'll be forgiving if they use uppercase. We'll say Hiragana current .romanji there. So this means they've got it right. So what we're going to do is we're going to say set streak to +1. We're going to say set max streak to, well, oh, look at that. That's perfect. That works perfectly. So this gets you to, I did not mean to use this, but this is Copilot down here for anyone who's wondering what this autocomplete is. Copilot from GitHub. And it just gave me this suggestion to use math.max, streak, and max streak. So this will give you the highest number of the two. And that's exactly what we want. The max streak should be the highest number. We're then going to say, once we've done that, we're going to set our, well, not set an error, sorry, that we're correct in here. Well, actually, no, we do want to set an error saying that. We want to set it to false because once we do get an error, if we get it correct the next time, we want to remove that error just to make sure people know they don't have that error. We're then going to use local storage and we're going to say set item and we're going to say max streak is equal to streak and streak as well. So here, we just want to make sure once we've set our streak, actually, this is wrong as well. So this should be here. So we need to copy this and paste this through because how this function works is it will not, if you set the streak here, recalling streak down here will not give you the new value. It will give you the old value until the next callback. Because obviously this is going down in a synchronous way. So what we want to do is we want to copy this value and pass that here. Now these should be set correctly, which will work out better for us. We then want to say else, so if not, that means it's wrong. So we want to set our streak to 0 to say, hey, you got it wrong. And then we're going to set our error, and this is just going to be, we're going to use template tags here. And I want to say wrong, just so people know they're wrong. I like to put in the face. The correct answer is, and then we're just going to say pass through Hiragana Romanji. We're going to say the correct answer for, and we're actually going to pass through the Hiragana current, and we're going to say .hiragana, and then we're going to say is. So we're just going to say, so this, for this symbol, the correct answer is this. That's essentially what we're saying there. And then under here, we could just say local storage dot set item streak, oh, not stream, streak to 0, because we don't want, obviously once you get it wrong, we need to make sure the local storage, otherwise they can just refresh the page and it will be back to what their last streak was, which is kind of cheating. So we're just going to stop you from cheating there. I know I'm looking at you over there, Mr. Steve. Steve's going to feel personally attacked now. Sorry, Steve. Steve, who, you know, cheats his way through this. And then we're going to set the input back to 0 once you've answered and set random Hiragana to get a new character to obviously put your input through for. And there you go. Now, once we have done that, we just need to say use effect, and we're going to set a random Hiragana to start with. We're then going to set, we'll pass this through this, but adding an empty bracket basically says do this only once this is mounted and nothing else. And in here, we want to say set streak, and we're going to use local storage.getItemStreak or 0. So if this doesn't exist, we're going to say it's back to 0. And we'll also get our max streak as well. So every time we reload this app, it will get our current local storage and set it inside of the use effect. So that is all the functionality we actually need. Let's actually get on to styling this and adding it in. So we've added Tailwind to this. So inside of the app, I'm going to do min height screen because I want it to be full screen. And we're going to say background slate 800, text white, along with text center. And there you go. That should be good for that. So if we just save and we go back here, you can see it says hello world in white with the proper colors there, which is perfect. Now in here, we're going to have a header component, or just a header, should I say, and we're going to say class name is equal to, and we're going to say padding 6, which is 24 pixels all around, and I'm going to say margin bottom of 8. So don't be alarmed. If you don't want to use Tailwind, you do not have to. You can actually just convert these straight into code, and you could just do the same here. So you can see here, bam, there's your code, there's your code, there's the code, there's the code, and so forth. It's dead simple, and if you don't want to use Tailwind, you could probably style this however you want. You don't have to follow along with this. I'm then going to create a H1. In here, just going to say Hiragana quiz, and we're going to give this a class name off, and we're going to say text 2XL to make it slightly bigger, font bold, and obviously uppercase. There we go. Let's have a look. That's looking a lot better already. Now, underneath this, we want to have our score. So I'm just going to create a plain div just to house it all with a paragraph tag. And we're going to say streak slash, and then we're also going to say max streak. And there you go. You can see it says 0 out of 10. We could probably bring that in. It'll probably look better if it's right next to each other. Bam. And there you go. Our max streak is 10. We can actually remove our current streak by going in here, deleting this, and also deleting this. If we refresh, you can see it goes back to 0. Obviously, in the demo, I showed you how to use that. And that's why there was something there. Now, under the header, we want to have the current hiragana. So we're going to create a div. And we're going to have we're going to have in here, basically, hiragana. And then we're going to get the current one, and we're going to say hiragana. Hiragana. There we go. And we want to set another class on here to help style this. We want this to be 9XL. We want this to be as big as we can because that'll be better. We're going to set this to font bold, and we also want to have an MB of 8 to push down the input below. We're then going to have another div with the MB8 as well. And in here, we're going to have a form with onSubmit handle submit, which is the function we created up here. So when we submit this by pressing enter, it will give us this here. Now in here, we just want to pass through an input field, which is going to be a type text. Type text, we're going to have a value of input, an onChange event of handle change, and then we're going to have a class name equal to block width of 24, which is going to give us that's about 100 and something, I believe. So 96, there you go, just under. MX auto, padding 2, sorry, not MX auto, padding bottom 2, background transparent, border bottom 2 with border bottom white, outline of none, because it will by default add an outline. We want it text to be centered, and also the text to be 6XL, and that should be all we need for obviously this change. Let's just go, I need to close off my form. And there you go, we've got this little typing field right here. Although it looks like our hiragana is not working. Did you mean hiragana? Yep, yes I did. Thank you for correcting me. And there you go, we could say mo here and you can actually see it's working right now. But that's not exactly what we want just yet. We want to go under here and we want to set our errors. So because if we get an error, so this is high, I'm going to say ho. And that actually errored. You saw our streak reset, but nothing else happened. So this would be again, and then co. And you can see there's actually a lag behind here, and I'll explain that in a minute. But anyway, inside of here, we just want to get our error. So we want to say error. And so if we have an error, we just want to say basically a paragraph. This doesn't have to be text red, but I'm going to pull it as red. And then we're going to say error, because that basically is just going to display our error underneath. So in here, let's just do no. Oh, there you go. The correct answer for Ray is Ray or Lay. And there you go. This would be Sue and this would be Yo. But let's say we get another one wrong of cheese. That's definitely not cheese, that's ha. And there you go. You can see that's now working. But there's a bit of delay on our hiragana here. And I'm going to explain why. So let's go back up. So up here, we obviously set math.max is equal to our max streak or streak. But as I said earlier, we actually need to use streak +1 because streak hasn't actually been set yet. Although we say set streak before set max streak, the issue is the streak value doesn't update until the next call. So we need to actually pass streak +1. And now, if we go back in here and we say ta, there you go. Oh, and here's another thing. So you can see there, that just added 1. Let's say so. And you can see that's now 0, 11, 11. And that's going to keep doing that. It's going to keep adding that. That's because we're actually local storage sets a string and not a number or a integer. So what we need to do is actually convert these to be integer. So we're going to say pass int and pass through that and then pass through an extra one. And the same here, pass int. So anywhere you get local storage, you should definitely pass it as an integer if you are looking for an integer. Let's go back in here and just delete this. And let me just show you here. So this would be high on hey right now. And there you go. You can see 12 out of 12. Although it shouldn't be 12 out of 12 because it's incorrect. So let's refresh. 0 out of 0. This is row. Let's do row. There you go. This is me, hair, ho, yo, su, ya. Yeah, I wondered what happened there. Ra, it was just the same one again. Now you could do some checking in here and say when you generate a new hiragana. So in here you could say make sure it's not what the current one already is. But that's you don't need to. I mean, it keeps you on your toes when you've got multiple to do answer right. Anyway, this is key, but key. I'm going to do care just to get it wrong. And it says wrong. The correct answer is key. And there you go. You can see it's been reset. So that is what we've built today, guys. A simple hiragana quiz application that you can test your Japanese skills with. Now, you can also do this with I've also realized I put hiragana there. Again, apologies. That should be hiragana. And there you go. Sorry. Anyway, so I want you guys to take this and also implement katakana into this as well. Also, I've only done the basic hiragana. So this is all just the standard hiragana. There's a lot more than just this. There's actually, so you can see here you have like, where's the K? So you have ka, ki, ku, get, ke, and ko. If you add two little quote behind this, it actually changed the K to a G. So it would be go, ke, ge, ku, gu, gi, ga. Like so, and that actually changes the meaning of it. So there's actually a lot more than just these you can actually add in. I'm sure if I went like this would, there you go, ga, it actually went for the ones I wanted to, gi, gu, and you can see the only difference is this little like quote mark afterwards, and you can add a lot more. So definitely add in all those as well to your list. You could probably also abstract this from hiragana, from inside your app to somewhere else, to maybe a file or something to pull from an API, which would be pretty cool. But for now, let's just stick with this. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, do not forget to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you need help with this project, then feel free to jump in our Discord server. The link is down below. Head to the help channel and just say, hey, I'm stuck on this video because of X, Y, and Z. Here's my error, and pass it through your code and stuff so people know how to help you. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.